This conference will now be recorded.
So we are discussing about the enterprise structure configuration. We have finished discussing about all the definition of organizational elements. So today we'll be creating the complete relation between the organizational elements, that is assignment, right? So that we can form a complete structure in the system. So SPRO, sales and distribution, sorry, enterprise structure, assignment. So we finished discussing about the definition where we created all the organizational elements individually, right? So now in the assignment, we create a relation between the organizational elements. So first, so we don't need to go to financial accounting in the assignment because we are not assigning a company code to a company. If you have created a company, then you should assign the company code to company, but we have not created a company. So you don't need to go to financial accounting. Let's directly get into the sales and distribution. So in the sales and distribution, the first configuration is any highest organizational unit in any module has to be assigned to the company code, right? Whether it's a plant, whether it is a purchase organization, whether it's a sales organization, any highest organizational unit in any other module should be assigned to company code. So sales organization is the highest organizational unit in the SD module, which should be assigned to a company code. So just click on the IMG activity and go to the position in the bottom, click on position and search for your sales organization. So ZGXY is my sales organization, and for this ZGXY, you can assign your company code. So why system is showing the 1000 here? Because we have copied and created, right? So same company code has been also copied for this particular sales organization. So remove this 1000 and assign our own company code called as ZGXY, right? So this is how you assign a sales organization to a company code. Save it and come back, right? Save it and come back. Then next we need to assign a distribution channel to sales organization. What is this combination called as? Anyone? Sales organization distribution channel combination. What's called as technically?
Sales line.
Sales area.
It's called as sales line, right? It's called as sales line. So let us do the configuration. So for this, you can directly go to the new entries and select your sales organization. Let's say ZGXY is my sales organization, and it can be any distribution channel. I'll take 10. So it is already existed because we copied from 1000, and from 1000 already ZGXY is carrying 1000. Sorry, 10. So just go to the new entries and mention your sales organization and assign your distribution channel, whichever you created at the time of definition. So maintain at least 2 or 3. Okay, 3. Don't go anything more than that. It's waste of time. If you understand the concept, just even 1 is fine. But to try the scenarios, you should have at least 2. So at least have 2 to 3. Right? Save it and come back. Then next, assign division to sales organization. It's also same. You click on new entries and the sales organization and division. So assign your sales, you put your sales organization here, you put your division here and save it and come back. Okay, save it and come back. The next is set up sales area. What is sales area? Anyone? In fact, I want this answer from everyone. What is sales area?
Combination
It
of
is a unique
combination
of sales org, division, and distribution channel.
Right? So you're in a project, and when in the requirement gathering, you are telling the same thing to your user, your customer. Will he understand the same thing whatever you told me now? It's a combination of sales org, division, and distribution channel. If you tell the same answer to your customer, will he understand what is the functionality of sales area?
Can we say like this? It's an assignment in the SAP, which is a combination of
division, distribution channel, and sales org?
Yes, that is a very mature answer, because see, you're a customer, don't know about SAP. When you say a sales area, he don't know anything. So if you say it's a combination of these organization elements, no, he don't understand anything, right? So what is exactly a sales area? It is an assignment in SAP with a combination of your sales area, distribution, and division, which will help us to create customers, that is master data and transaction. See, anything in the SD module, whether it can be master data or transaction, it should be under sales area. So how do you explain this to customers? That's the reason they ask this question in the interview very frequently. What is sales area, and how you convinced your customer to have less number of sales areas? Why you should not have more number of sales areas? Because as I told you, the structure will get very complicated. So restrict that. So you to have a easy structure of reporting and everything, you should have less number of sales area. So what is sales area? It's an assignment in the SAP system, because we don't see sales area in a general business. Okay, it's an assignment in the SAP system which will help us to create master data and transactions. You don't need to even tell assignment. You don't need to tell combination of sales org, sales area, these all things. You can simply tell to the interviewer, it's an assignment in the SAP system which will help us to create master data and transactions, right? So that is how you differentiate from others. If 10 people come to the interview, 9 people will answer the same thing, saying that it's a combination of sales organization, division, and distribution. But one will tell this kind of answer where you differentiate from others, right? So this comes only by practice. So from day one, you need to prepare these kind of things, right? So go to setup sales area, have at least 2 sales areas, because we need to try some scenarios. So go to new entries and mention your sales organization. Let's say ZGXY is my sales org, distribution channel 10, and division is 00, right? So at least have 2 sales areas now itself, because later we need to try some scenarios. Again, you cannot come back here and create one more. So have minimum 2 sales areas. So this is how you enter a sales area, save it, and come back. So I'm not saving anything here because I don't want to use these sales areas. I'll go with only standards when we are discussing the scenarios, right? So I'm not saving this, but you have to save this and come back. Then next is you need to assign sales office to sales area, because anything in the sales module will be performing under the sales area, right? So sales office will sit under sales area. So whatever the sales office you created at the time of definition, you assign that particular sales office, which is 4-digit alphanumerical, which is 4-digit alphanumerical to your sales area, that is sales org, distribution channel, division. So go to new entries and mention your sales area and sales office. Save it and come back. Then next, you need to put sales group under the sales office, right? So go here, new entries, select your sales office and mention your sales group. Save it and come back. Next, this assignment is very important and very important for the interview as well. So in the interviews, they ask this question. So what is the combination of sales org and distribution called as? It is sales line, right? Sales org plus distribution channel is technically called as sales line. So in the interviews also, they ask this question, why you are assigning sales line to plant? So why we are assigning the sales line to plant? Because to make sure we deliver goods from that particular plant to the customers in this distribution channel, right? So any customer, any distribution channel will be under sales organization, right? So under this sales organization, when I say distribution channel, under distribution channel there might be 10 customers, 100 customers, 1000 customers. So if you assign this sales line combination to a plant, that means you are facilitating that the goods will be delivered from this plant to these customers in the distribution channel, right? So for that reason, you assign this sales organization, that is sales line to plant. Okay, I'll also open the notes here, SAP notes, because this one is very important for the interviews. I'll do one thing, I'll go with another server. Okay, so yeah, so this is sales organization, this is distribution channel, which is called a sales line. For that, you are assigning a plant. Go to new entries, your sales organization, your distribution channel, and your plant. Mention this and save it and come back. So why we are doing this configuration? because to facilitate the customers under distribution channel, so use this step to assign any number of plants to combination sales organization. Assign the plant combination sales activity, the combination of the automatically process the default for the maintenance. Yeah, so SAP has not given much here, but you are allowing customers under this distribution channel, under this sales organization, to deliver the materials from this plant, whatever the plant you are assigning to them, right? Yeah, that's it. So this configuration, we'll see it later. Sales area to create control area. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. In the sales and distribution, let's get into the logistics general, because the plant is here, right? So we need to assign the plant to company code. This transaction is little important even for later purpose, because later when you are posting material, you may get some error. That error we can fix it with this. The transaction is OX18, assigning plant to company code. This is a little tricky configuration. So you can see whenever when I open some screen, you can observe the transaction here. You see OX18. So if you want to know in which screen I am, immediately see the transaction. Okay. So if I open a new screen, just observe this transaction, right? OX18. So this is a little tricky transaction configuration when you're doing, because I'll go to new entries. What is my plant? ZGXY. What is my company code? ZGXY. So if I enter these two, system will throw error. You see, system says it's already assigned to 2000. Why system says ZGXY is already assigned to 1000? Because we copied from there, right? So the same configuration is already existed. So that's the reason system will throw an error. So what you need to do? First, find out where is this ZGXY combination. That means go to position and give your plant ZGXY, for which 1000 company code is already assigned, because we copied ZGXY from 1000, and that 1000 plant already has 1000 company code assignment. So the same configuration has been inherited to even our plant, right? So for our plant, already there is a company code 1000. That's the reason system is telling that there is already one plant assigned to that, so that you cannot change. So for this reason, what you do now, select this combination and delete. This is the delete icon. You see, this is the delete icon. First, delete it. Once you click on delete, you have to save it. If not, it will not take effect, right? Save it, delete, save it. Now you go to new entries and give that ZGXY and ZGXY. You see, now system allows you to take this, right? So to do this configuration, first you have to delete whatever the existing combination is there, and then you need to proceed with your own company code and plant. Save it and come back. Right, that's it in the logistics general, and nothing to do in the nothing to do in the and the last configuration is assigning shipping point to the plant. That is in the logistics execution. In the logistics execution, we assign shipping point to plant. Even this configuration is also a little tricky configuration. So once you click this, observe request current locked by user. Okay, let us clear this user. So when you're practicing in the training server and continuously, if you want to open some configuration, it is throwing a message. Let's say if I want to open something, if it is throwing a message saying that this object is locked by some user. So see, sometimes what happens is system will not flush out this particular cookies, right? So we need to do it manually. So if it is continuously throwing this kind of message, then go to a transaction called as SM12, where you can see the lock entries. Go to SM12 transaction and give the username, whichever the user is locking it, right? And say list. It will show whatever the user was using and blocked, right? Now click on this icon, select all, or you can click on this select all, right? Click on this select all and go to lock entry and delete all, right? And so all the lock entries has been deleted. Now again, go back and run the transaction and see whether the system will open it or not, right? So now if I click this, You see now it's system open. That means there is no lock entry by other user. So this issue you'll face only at the time of training when you're practicing. Okay. So this configuration also is a little tricky, as I mentioned, because if you come here and click on assign, system will throw an error. You see, system throws an error. Yeah, one more thing. See, this is also a question which is asked in the interview. What is the status messages? Can you tell me the colors? This is the status bar. Whatever you're seeing here in the bottom, this is called as status bar, right? So there are three kinds of messages in SAP. One is warning, error, success. Warning message will be in yellow color. In the same status bar, you will see that message in yellow color. If it is error, it is in red color. So what is the difference between warning and error? Warning means you can ignore and proceed. If it is error, until unless you fix it, you cannot proceed. This is error. You cannot proceed until you fix this error. Success, that means when I click on save, system shows in green color, right? So this was one question in the interview. So what is the status messages and what's its colors, right? So how do you do this shipping point to plant assignment? You should not click on assign directly. It will throw an error. So first you need to go to find icon. This is the find icon, the binocular symbol, and try to find out your plant. So once you click this, system will pop up a window, and that you search for your plant. Let's say my plant is ZGX5. All right. So that means before you click this assign, your plant has to be highlighted. You see the red brackets? The plant has to be highlighted before you click assign. So now after highlighting this plant, if I click assign, then system will show a pop-up saying all the plants. So just scroll and choose whatever your plant. But why you're seeing this many plants assigned to my company code, my plant? Why you're seeing this many storage locations? The reason is we copied it from 1000, right? So whatever 1000 is also having, the same thing also copied to my plant, right? So you don't try to delete them, it's a waste of work. So just select whatever yours and say okay, right? So this is how we do a shipping point to plant assignment, right? So this is what the complete
Pradeep,
yeah.
can you repeat this step because the screen was a little slow, so I couldn't follow it?
Okay. So when you click on the assign shipping point to plant, that means when you're doing the shipping point plant configuration, first you need to go to this particular binocular symbol find icon and mention your plant, say okay, and select your plant. That means before you are clicking assign button, your plant has to be already highlighted. Then only click assign and select your shipping point and say okay, right? Then save it. Okay. So this is how you assign a shipping point to plant. So all the configuration, whatever the organization elements we need as for SD to go ahead and try other scenarios, we have all the configuration now. So the complete enterprise structure assignment has been finished. If you want to do a consistency check, that means whether your organization structure is correct or not, all the assignments has been done well or not. If you want to see it, how do you see it? In the interviews also sometimes they ask a question. They just flip the resume to the back side, they give a pen and they'll ask you to draw your organization structure, right? So be ready. So if you face a question, if they ask you, can you draw your project organization structure? Yes. So you can see it in a tree structure. How can you see it in a tree structure? The transaction code is EC01. Go to EC01. There is nothing but company code. In the EC01, go to structure, navigation. Under the navigation, you will see all the company codes, right? So let me select ZGXY. See, I have ZGXY. Just click on my Galaxy. This is my company code, right? Under this is my plant. This is my sales organization. For sales organization, we have distribution channels, right? So this is how you can see your complete organizational structure, right? So by going to EC01, you can see the complete structure, whether assignments are correct or not and everything. So in the interviews also, if they ask you a question, can you draw your project organization structure? Yes, this is the same way you need to draw it, complete client's organization structure. Okay. So with this, we finished discussing about complete enterprise structure. So now let's move on to a new concept, that is master data.
Ravi. Hi, Anaga here. I have a question. Like for the sales of the Hyundai India Limited, that is like sales of. We have given the name as that.
No, that has been copied from something else.
Okay, but we need to change, right? As per our whatever we want to give it.
This should be Galaxy Pharma. I copied from 1000. 1000 is Hyundai India Limited, but I haven't changed it. As I
Okay.
already shown you how to change here, so I have not repeated that step.
Okay. So we need to change, right? For practice, we can change it.
You can change it. The description is optional. Whatever you want, you can mention.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is what all the organization structure is all about. Now let's move on to a new
And
concept.
Praveen, where is the storage location?
Storage location you don't create here. Storage location is a separate configuration. It's not under enterprise structure. Okay. It doesn't come under enterprise structure. Storage location is a separate configuration. It is a determination. It is not configuration, it is a determination. We'll see it later. Okay. So the next concept is master data. So what is master data? How many master data we have and why we need a master data? So first question, what is a master data? See, master data is simple. I'll take a banking example. So if you open a bank account, okay, you want to open a bank account, what you do? You go to bank and you give all your details. That means your address proof, your age proof, your income, income proof and everything, and you give your email ID, everything, and you open a bank account. Do you do this every time you go to for a bank? No, right? Only once we submit all the data, and an account will be created for us and a reference number called as account number will be given. So whenever you are doing some transaction with the bank for the next time, you don't need to mention all your data, right? Your name, your address, your phone. You don't need to mention these all things to the bank. Just tell that account number, they can pull out all the data about you. Why? Because that is master data. Your data has been stored centrally as master data, which can be pulled using a primary key called as account number, right? All your data has been stored under account number. So you just mention the account number, they can pull you your every data. And how often your bank, that particular data changes? Very frequently or not that frequently? Not that frequently,
Very
right?
rare, very rare.
Very rare. Maybe your phone number or your email ID or sometimes your address might be changed, right? They don't change every day, right? So master data, which is created once, stored centrally and used in day-to-day transactions. That means whenever you want to withdraw money or whenever you want to send money, whatever you want to do with the bank, what you do, you use your bank account, right? So what is master data? Created once and stored centrally. What is the stored centrally means? That means, see, if I have an account in one city with a branch, let's say the bank is HDFC Bank in India. If I have some Banjara Hills branch in Hyderabad, I can access my bank account anywhere, right? Throughout the world, wherever I have a HDFC Bank, I can access. Why? Because all my data is stored centrally on the cloud, right? So I can withdraw, I can withdraw the cash or deposit cash, whatever I want. I can do it anytime from anywhere because all my data is stored centrally, right? So what is master data? Created once, stored centrally, and used in day-to-day transaction. In a day-to-day transaction, what you do you with bank? Either you deposit the money or you withdraw the money, right? So the same thing applies for the customer master also. So what all master data we have in SAP SD module? That is customer master and material master, and the third one is CMIR, that is customer material info record. Okay, customer material info record, and the last one is pricing. We call it as price master, or also we call it as condition master. Okay, anything we call it with, right? So these are the 4 master data what we have in the SAP. So master data is different, transaction data is different. Okay. So customer master is all about customer's address, customer's contact details, customer's payment details, customer's tax details, customer delivery preferences, all the customer shipping details, so, right? So all the data related to the customer we create under and store it under customer master. The next is material master. Material master usually belong to module, materials management, but it is a heavy integration between across the modules. So SD also has some role in material master. So what is material master? Material master is again details about the material, the weight, volume, color, specifications of the material. That means the weight, volume, color of one material is only for that material, right? It may not be belong to other material. So that is material master data, which belongs to that particular material. Then next is CMIR, customer material info record. See, certain times in business, we need to give some choices and preferences to the customer, right? There are some important customers for which you want to give some choices and preferences, which may not be possible at the customer master level or which may not be possible at the material master level. Because, simple, let's say there is a customer, okay, who is a very high priority customer. 01 means, let's say, high priority. Okay, so when this customer is buying all the materials, I want him to be high priority. But when this customer is buying a material called as X, when this customer is buying a material called X, I want him to be a medium priority customer, not a high priority. So if I change that in the customer master, what happens? Anyone?
It will be applicable to all orders.
Right. So it is applicable for every material this customer is buying, right? I may have 10 materials, but I want him to be a medium priority customer for only one material called as X. Rest all the materials I want him to be high priority. If I change it at the material master level, sorry, customer master level, what happens? That will be applicable for every material this customer is buying, right? That means I cannot do it at the material master level. Where can we do this? We can do it in the CMIR. With a combination of customer and material, if you want to give some these kind of fields, that can be done in the CMIR. Likewise, there is a field called as minimum order quantity. Minimum order quantity in the material master. That means if any customer is buying this X material, the minimum order they have to place is 100. They have to place minimum order 100. But if this customer is buying, I want it to be 50. Only for this customer, I want it to be 50. So if I change this to 50 in the material master, what happens? It will be applicable for every customer, but I don't want that. I want it to be only for one customer, right? So it is not possible at the customer or material level. That we can do it in the CMIR. So with the customer and material combination, if you want to give some preference and choices, this is what we use, that is CMIR, right? The next is pricing. Why pricing is also a master data? Because the price of material will not change every day, right? The tax for the material will not change every day, right? So which does not change very frequently. What we do, we maintain that as a master data. So pricing is also called as master data, right? So these are the 4 master data we have. So first, let's discuss about the customer master. Okay, this itself will take 2 or 3 sessions for us to discuss customer master. Let me, okay. So who creates master data in the real time? Consultant or end user?
End user.
End user, right? So the guys who is taking your orders when you go to Big Bazaar or Walmart with the barcode reader, they are end users, right? So who is creating orders? Our master data, that is end users. But as a consultant, why we are learning about how to create a master data? Why we are learning as a consultant? Because master data is like a front end, but you need to control a lot of things in the back end, right? That means some fields should be mandatory, some fields should be optional, some fields you should not allow the user to enter any data, and you need to give training, you need to create user manuals. So that means as a consultant, you should also have complete idea about customer master, how to create change and everything, right? So for that reason, as a consultant, we are also learning how to create a customer master. So there is a major business impact in the S4 HANA coming to this customer master. In the S4 HANA, we don't have this concept called as customer master, right? This customer master concept now in S4 HANA is called as business partner. Why business partner? Why can't it be same customer master in S4 HANA? Let me give you a little brief. See, customer master is a integration customer master is the integration between SD and FI modules. SD and FI module. Okay. Whatever we create as a customer in SD, the same thing is used in other new dimensional modules. What is a new dimensional module? Which sits on a different server. This is a ECC server, right? ERP ECC server. This is new dimensional modules. It can be GTS, a separate server with a separate license. FSCM, Financial Supply Chain Management, separate server with a separate license. SRM, Supplier Relation Management. CRM, Customer Relation Management. These all are new dimensional modules, comes with a different servers and different license, which are connected through RFCs, remote function calls. We connect these systems, right? So we create a customer in the SD in the ECC. So now we want to find out whether we are allowed to do a business with this customer or not, right? Because this customer can be a Bin Laden, he can be a Dawood Ibrahim, he can be a most wanted terrorist, the customer whatever we have created here. So there is a ban on certain people, right? Certain countries and certain people, there is a ban from the World Trade Organization, right? They put ban on the countries and individuals. You cannot do business with them. If you're doing business with them, you need to pay very hefty penalties, right? So in a big businesses, you need to check to with whom you are doing business. That is called as compliance. What is compliance? You are following the rules and regulations is called as compliance. SD does not have the option of compliance. The compliance is performed in GTS, Global Trade Services. So when I create a customer in the ECC, I want to know whether I'm allowed to do this business with this customer or not. For that, what I need to do, I need to transfer this customer to GTS module, where in GTS module, we have a concept called as SPL screening, sanctioned party list. There are two parties, sanctioned party, denied party. Sanctioned party means you can do business, denied party means you cannot do business. So when you transfer this customer into the GTS for SPL screening, system will tell you, it will search Osama. I can write it like this, Osama. Both are same, right? Both are same, only one digit is different. GTS has a capability to even find out this. Even typo, spell, everything, GTS has a capability to find out, right? And in turn, it will tell, okay, this customer is a sanctioned party, you can do business with this customer. So when you're transferring this customer to this particular GTS, this all new dimensional modules uses customer as a concept called as business partner. Okay, these all modules will use customer master. Customer master is used by only SD and FI, but the same customer is used by many new dimensional modules called as business partner. Now what's happening in the S4 HANA? Everything is coming onto same platform on HANA database with S4 HANA enterprise management digital core. So your ERP is sitting here, your all new dimensional modules are sitting on the same platform with the same license. Why to again carry this old customer master when majority of the modules are using business partner? Then why to create a customer master separately and this particular separately? Because what is the fundamental of HANA data modeling? No duplicate data. But here what happening? You are having the data redundancy, right? You are creating a customer here, same data is getting copied here, and you have a duplicate data here. So why should you have this duplicate data? So that's the reason what SAP has done is it has removed customer master. When I say removed, it has not been removed completely. Now the customer master has made a subset of business partner. That means first you create business partner, which is used by most of the modules. Then if you want this business partner also behave as a customer or a vendor, customer belongs to SD, vendor belongs to MM. So if you then decide after business partner, if you want to decide, if you decided that you also want to this customer to be this business partner to be a customer, then extend it. So now customer master is a subset of business partner. Okay. So if you want to have more idea about this discussion, go and watch my YouTube video called business partner in S4HANA. Okay. In the YouTube, I posted a video for S4HANA business partner. So there you'll get a complete idea with configuration, right? So go watch, you'll be getting a complete idea of business partner, right? So that is what happened for the customer master in the S4HANA. So still we are in the ECC, let's discuss what is customer master. Yeah, go ahead.
Just one question on the GTS. Who handles it normally, and is it a kind of used by each and every company, or only specific companies uses GTS?
GTS is handled by GTS consultants. Most probably SD, your advanced skill set is GTS. That means after working for 5-6 years in SD, if you want to upgrade your skill set, you can go for GTS. It's a very good in demand in the market. Why? Because you know, right, day by day, the world trade is getting very complicated. So that complicated trade can be handled only by GTS. So in the ECC, we already have a module called as foreign trade. The extended version of foreign trade is nothing but GTS. If it is foreign trade, we have again import and export. Okay, export is handled by SD, import is handled by MM. Export means, see, always SD pushes materials out of the plant, right? So export is handled by SD, and import, MM always receive the goods into the plant. So import is used by MM. So if you don't want to buy an extra license, you don't have that great exports or imports, then you can use only foreign trade in the ECC. Somewhere it will be. If you see, just stop me. GTS, Global Trade Services. Legal regulations. Okay, this is anyway not relevant. See, so let me tell you. So there are two things. One is import and export, and that is called as foreign trade in the ECC. But foreign trade has a very limitation, because foreign trade was introduced in the SAP in early 90s. Okay, but that is not fulfilling the requirement after the Twin Tower blast in 2001 in the US. Twin Tower blast happened, right? Then SAP has come up with a new module for the regulations called as GTS, Global Trade Services, because foreign trade is not that capable to handle with this thing. But that reason SAP has come up in 2001 with a new module called as GTS, where it has a continuous monitoring of this sanctioned party, embargoed countries, these all things it can perform. Okay, but now in the S4HANA, there is no foreign trade. SAP has completely removed foreign trade from S4HANA, and now if customer want to do import export, they need to do only with the GTS module. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Praveen.
Right. Yeah, somewhere it would be import and export, sales and distribution. Do we have it here? It is the material master anyway. Okay, you have it here, right? Somewhere. I just seen this one, foreign trade customers. Right, this is the foreign trade under the SD module which we do, that is exports as I'm talking about. So this foreign trade is completely removed in S4HANA now. There is no foreign trade. Anything to be done only through GTS, Global Trade Services. It's a new dimensional module altogether in separate license. And you have GTS consultants for that. So later, if you want to upgrade your skill sets after learning S4HANA, go for GTS. Because as it mentioned, world trade is getting very complicated day by day because of rules and regulations, and you don't know when the rules will be changed. And there is very less number of GTS consultants in the market, very less number of consultants. So that is one area which you can focus, right?
Thanks
So
much, Ravi.
yeah, Vishnu. So you can better try actually, because in Singapore, Malaysia, you have a lot of foreign trade, right?
Yeah,
You
that's
may
true.
be having better opportunities there if you go for GTS.
Okay, I'll make
Okay.
it note.
Yeah. So the customer master is divided into 3 tabs, 3 areas, or 3 screens, whatever we can call it as. Okay. I used to call it as screens. Right. Customer master is divided into 3 screens. What is that? General data, company code data, sales area data. So I used to call it as 3 different screens. But you know, there is a question in Wipro. They asked a question saying that what all data we see in the customer master. Okay. What data we see in the customer master? What data we have seen? So questions are not all the time the straight questions. So the person, my trainee who has faced this interview, he did not answer it because he thought data means something else. But what is the data? General data, company code data, sales area data. If I ask you what are the 3 different screens in customer master, definitely he would have answered that: sales general data, company code data, sales area data. But there is a little twist in the question. He did not ask about what is the 3 screens. He asked what all the data we can see, different data we can see in customer master. So questions are not all the time straight. It will have a little twist. You know the answer, but you are not able to answer it because you cannot understand the question. So whenever a question is asked in the interview, don't immediately answer. Take a time. Wait for 2 minutes, wait for 2 or 3 seconds. Pause, then start the answer. Definitely you'll be knowing the answer, but only thing is you need to think for a moment. Okay. So a customer master is divided into 3 different screens. General data is both common for SD and FI. So as I told you, customer master is the SD-FI integration. So in the general data, you see SD and FI. Company code data is purely related to FI, and sales area data is related to SD. And how do we create this in the system? If you want to create something, so if you want to create everything, that means if I create a customer, I want general data, I want company code data, I want sales area data. Then we use a central transaction called as XD01. If I want to have only general data and company code data, I don't want to have sales area data, then FD01. And if I want to only have sales area data, I don't want company code, I want only general data and sales area data, then VD01. But usually we create with central transaction XD01. And see, the authorization of creating this master data will not be given to every person in the organization. Okay. There might be master data specialists. Nowadays, we have a new module called as MDG. You are aware? Anyone is working on MDG? Master data governance. Because nowadays, what is the most powerful this thing? Data. Data is the most powerful object now, right? So how best you organize your data, that success you are, right? So for that, SAP has released a new module called as MDG, Master Data Governance. And you will be seeing MDG consultants or master data specialists. So this authorization of creating master data is given only to 1 or 2 persons, and they create master data, and they're called as master data specialists. Why like that? Because see, you cannot expose your customer data to each and everyone in your organization, because they'll be having customers credit card details, they'll be having their shipping details, they'll be having their tax details, lot of things, right? Very sensitive information of your customer will be there. And for any company, what is the most secured thing? The customers data, right? It should not get into their competitors or in the open market. So this access will be given only to 1 or 2 very important users, right? So coming to the configuration, we'll discuss configuration tomorrow, so it will not be a time would not be enough. So this is what a little introduction about what is a master data and customer master. So any questions for today? So tomorrow we'll create a customer in the SAP system. We need at least 2 or 3 sessions for discussing customer master.
Pradeep, one irrelevant question. I cannot open up the videos, the batch videos. I tried my best. I don't know. Whenever I tried, it says the error message.
Your ID is a Gmail ID, right?
I can hear you what you're saying.
Your ID, email ID is a Gmail ID, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then you should be able to open it. Just to try for today, because sometimes for the time being it will not be open because it's on the cloud. And if many users were trying at the same time, sometimes it doesn't open. Just see for today.
No,
if
I
it's not
tried
working,
like last 4 or 5 days. I tried it at different times, but it's never successful.
Okay. So you are trying on a laptop or mobile?
Laptop.
Laptop, right? Just try mobile once. Try to open through mobile.
Okay, I will.
Just see, because sometimes what happens is your Chrome browser might be outdated, or you need some permissions. Lots of things would be there. You open in mobile. If it's playing, just check at your end with your laptop Chrome browser. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Okay. I hope you are opening through Chrome. You are opening through Chrome or this Safari. Which browser you are using? Chrome. Okay. Just check in mobile. If it's opening, then just check your the laptop browser. Right? Yeah. Any other question?
Sir, I've got access to only one video.
You did not get the complete drive access?
No, not drive access. The one you sent me the mail was just directly pointing to the last video.
Okay. Sure. I'll change the access and give you the complete drive access.
Yeah.
Might
thanks.
be I sent it along with the yesterday video.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hi, Praveen.
Hello.
Yesterday you were showing some configuration documents for reference, you said, right? So where are they stored? Like, have you shared it with us?
Yes, it's in the G drive. The folder name is sapsd.rar. Okay.
And you
Hello,
will be sharing the
Praveen.
today's video also. You will be uploading the today's video, right? Because it helps us a lot to
Yeah, I'll
practice.
try to upload. My best I'll do. I'll try to upload.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
And yesterday the factory calendar and all what you were showing. So do we need to practice the whole this thing? Should we configure it?
You don't need to. If you understand the concept, you don't need to.
Okay. But we, as a consultant, we are not going to create it, right? That's what you said.
No, we don't create it, but just have an idea on calendar, because I told you, basing on that, you will be doing it, scheduling of the deliveries.
Okay.
See, certain things, again, let me repeat. If you understand the concept, don't do it twice, thrice, and fourth. Okay? Because where people fail is, they create 10 customers, 20 customers. But whose job is creating customer? Is a consultant or end user?
End user.
End user. So there is no purpose you create 10, 20, 30 customers. It's the same thing. You don't gain anything, right? So don't satisfy yourself creating 10 customers and you practiced a lot for 2-3 hours. It's just wasting time, right? So make sure whenever you're preparing, practicing something, whether it will be helpful for you or not. And once you have gone through the concept, you well understood the concept, just put it aside. Okay, and start with another concept. Don't repeat the same thing again and again. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll call it a day today and catch up tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll see the creation of customer. Yeah. Any question? Anyone else?
Yes.
Go ahead, Shabir.
In support project questions, Praveen, there is something called Z report. I don't know what it is.
Okay, Z we have not discussed, right? Just a moment. Okay, so you should have got this doubt earlier itself. See, what are the company codes, plans, and everything I'm creating? How I'm creating it? I copied from 1000, and what is the name I have given? ZGXY, right? Why I started with a Z? Why can't I write something else? Why I started with a Z? The reason is Z is a custom object. Z is a custom object. So let's say if you are upgrading from ECC 5 to ECC 6 version, What happens? System will overwrite all the programs and everything, right? But you have done lots of customizations and configurations by copying something. If you prefix it with Z, system will not touch this object because these are user-defined objects. If you don't prefix it with Z, what happens? System will override this and your configuration will be lost. That's the reason whenever you're copying and creating something, you need to prefix it with a Z. Z means custom objects. Likewise, Z report means custom reports, which is not there in the standard SAP and which is developed for custom, developed especially for that customer. That's called as Z reports. RISEF, technically we call it as RISEF. Reports, interface, conversion, enhancements, and forms. Z forms, Z reports, right? R means Z reports, interfaces, conversion, enhancements, Z routines, Z transactions. These all are called as developments. ABAPer will be doing this, right? So Z report means custom report, which is developed for that customer, and it's not there in the standard.
Okay, okay. And one more thing, Praveen. While copying from standard 1000 plant, there is language that is German language and some more fields that are grayed out could not be changed. In copying. Should we left that just like that, or is that
don't worry about plant because you don't create a plant in the real time, so don't bother about that. Okay, and see throughout the training,
okay.
what are the fields we will be discussing? See, in the screen you may see 50 fields, but all the 50 fields we never use it. So I might be discussing only 20 fields out of the 50 because only those are important. So if I am ignoring something, don't put any emphasis on those fields because two reasons. If I ignore something, it may not be important or I don't know about it. There is a chance even I don't know something, right? So most probably if it is important, I will not ignore. I will learn and tell you, right? So if I'm ignoring something, don't put any emphasis, just leave it at that point. It will not be useful for your throughout SAP career. Okay.
Okay.
So if it is important, for sure I'll touch everything. So if it's not important, I'll just skip it. And it's not possible practically for us to cover every field, right? Yeah. So let's call it a day and catch up tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll create a customer, and as I told you, it will take another 2 sessions for us to finish customer master. Right? So see you all and good night. Bye bye.